Welcome to Dairy Delivery by the Dairy Star. On today's episode, we catch up with Charles Kraus, a dairy farmer and United Dairy Industry Association chair after the 110th Indianapolis 500. Kraus was in attendance during race weekend, seeing how dairy checkoff promotes at a national scale. Sandy Erickson of Becker, Minnesota also joins us today. Erickson has been dairy farming for nearly 50 years, operating the farm of her late husband, Roger Erickson. Our third conversation has us speaking with 2009 Miss America, Katie Stammer. Stammer grew up on a dairy farm in Seymour, Indiana, and used it as an opportunity to place agriculture and dairy in a national spotlight. We wrap up today's episode with Sarah and Tom Cruzy, the 2025 Delaware County Farm Family of the Year in Iowa. You're listening to Dairy Delivery, all dairy, all the time. This episode is sponsored by DRMS.
DRMS is excited to introduce Rapid Reports and Bovine Bio, two new tools within the Herd HQ platform. Rapid Reports gives you instant access to individual animal data from any web browser on any device. Use TestDay or DartSync data from your processed herd to build and customize reports, sort and filter results, create lists unique to your goals, and drill down to individual cow pages with Cow Compass. Bovine Bio brings flexible, user-defined views of individual cow and heifer data, allowing you to build pages around your priorities, from genetics and reproduction to health and performance, using intuitive, drag-and-drop tools and custom alerts. Bovine Bio tells the full story of your animals anytime, on any internet-connected device. Herd HQ. See what's happening in your herd. Learn more at drms.org/herdhq/what-is-herdhq.
I'm Michelle Stangler.
And I'm Dan Walker, and we're your reporters at the Dairy Star, bringing you the latest in the dairy industry, including hearing from farmers from across the Midwest and beyond. Well, Michelle, I know right now, obviously, beginning of June, it feels like summer's finally here. Our kids are out of school. We've had a full experience of them of trying to get them back into a little bit of a system, but having them explore and have a little bit of adventure time too to relax from a full school year. What are some signs for you that makes you know that it's summer's here?
Certainly the warm weather, and I think especially here in the Midwest, celebrating June Dairy Month, that's a natural start. Going to breakfasts, I feel like every weekend, and then it's fair season. Especially when I grew up, training our dairy animals for the county fair was certainly that sign of, okay, now we have to halter break them. We would always start just after school, show them at the local county fair, and just to really have fun on the farm and to being with my family is just the memories it brings back. But now, here in my young adult's life, it's just, plugging away through the work, but also trying to enjoy the nice weather. I'm certainly one to enjoy summer is my favorite season. What about
Yeah,
you, Dan?
for sure. Summer's definitely up there for me too. It's just it's nice. Obviously it takes you back a little nostalgia of a little bit less responsibility. Obviously it's different now being full-time employees and actually working the entire time. But I think a sign of summer for me, obviously, is when you see hay binds out in the field getting first crop done. Like that's a sign. And then when you have you get the pool set up. I know we had always had one that we would like the inflatable ring that we would build up or like fill up on the farm and would have like once you get the pool out, summer's there, it's ready to go, and it's that time of year to be able to hang out.
Yeah, with cousins or with family, always a fun time to be surrounded, being outside. I think that's where a lot of farm families probably can resonate with that. But here it's June Dairy Month, and next month that means it's July Ice Cream Month. I'm certainly looking forward to some of the weekends we have left where we can enjoy some breakfasts on the farm.
Yeah, I know. Let's say Stacy Smart, or one of our Wisconsin reporters, asked me to put something out for um, breakfast on the farms the other day on social media, and I tried to make a graphic or do something with it, and then realizing that Wisconsin alone has like 58 different activities or events. Like, Stacy, I'm gonna plug something right now so we can get some engagement, but I can't get 58 graphics, 58 locations on a graphic. She understood. So if you're looking for breakfast on the farm or something near you, I just ran a Google search and figured out there was 58 different events. So like obviously that's available to you, and hopefully there's some good marketing for dairy breakfast in your area too if you're looking for places to get to.
Yeah, no matter upon the state, whether it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, there are different events to celebrate this month. And it's not like every state in the country does this, like our Midwestern states where we enjoy celebrating with fellow dairy farmers. But with that, we have a lot of stories in today's episode from dairy farmers themselves and a former Miss America. So let's get into this episode right now.
We'll kick off today's episode hearing about the Indy 500 at the world's largest sporting complex, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Charles Kraus attended this year's event, attending a weekend filled with festivities and meetings, educating dairy farmers about the dairy checkoff. He spoke with Minnesota reporter Sarah Young about his experience.
Obviously highlighting how Indiana has made milk front and center on the biggest stage, one-day stage in the world. So that was pretty cool.
You said it was your first Indy 500. What was that kind of like, being able to experience that and just see, especially from a dairy farmer's perspective, just kind of be able to see that?
I was just blown away by. I knew the winner out. And I've seen it. Everyone kind of knows the winner drinks milk, and it's been going on since the 40s or 50s or something like that.
Yeah.
So you might want that for the story, but how front and center milk is all weekend. It's all over the place. Winners drink milk in Indiana. ADA of Indiana has really done a fantastic job of making what it is, making it a big deal. And the winners, they get them touring farms. We had on the first night, we came in on Friday and then I came home Monday morning, and Friday evening, we had a dinner with the farmers, and then we had the winner of the 2013 Indy. He came and talked to us. So in 2013, Indiana, they didn't know he was going to win, and they'd set up him to go on a farm tour. And just the nicest guy, had a humble, grew up in nothing, Brazil. And and then the farmer that had him there came, and he said how much it meant to him to, be acknowledged. And so, yeah, it was really cool to see all that. They have a parade Saturday, and they had a big dairy float, and everyone's cheering and yelling, and it's mainly the drivers. It's all about the race, but yeah, it's just, I can't say enough how well milk has. It's awesome. It's just cool as can be. Yeah.
Well, like you said, I mean, it's cool to see that dairy is, aside from the race, obviously that's the reason you're there, but that dairy is kind of the next forefront of the whole race,
And it's not like Gatorade pays to be at every NFL football game. I mean, It's just milk is requested, and it became a tradition, and it's just part of what the race is. And
what's probably the biggest takeaway from going, whether it's something on the race side or something on the dairy industry side, what's kind of the biggest thing?
Well, I think for me, as the chair of the national board, it was nice for me to see how state and regions work with the national checkoff together to get a message across, build reputation, build trust. Shows just how local checkoff can be, and then how big it can be on a local stage. And so that's a big takeaway. And then that we were able to bring in farmers that don't necessarily, they're paying a lot of money in, but they don't necessarily know what all the money's spent on, and to give them an idea, some of the innovation and some of the great things that we're doing, and it was really eye-opening, and make those connections, and help them help us, and get if they had ideas and how they think things should be spent, implement those ideas too. So
and it's good to get fresh perspective, and like you said, they're putting a lot of money in, so it's good for them to see all the things you're doing with their money too.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if everyone could go, but we didn't. We're trying to get people from different parts of the country too, and like this fall, we're having our DMI board meeting at the Mayo Clinic in September, and because we have a 5-year collaboration with the Mayo Clinic on full-fat dairy.
Okay.
And so we're going to be inviting the Midwest Dairy corporate board to come and attend that too. So more of a regional thing here, since it's in our backyard, and get some farmers there that don't always get to see some of the national level stuff. And so we're working with state and regions, local and national at the same time, because it's all interconnected and important to all dairy farmers.
This episode is brought to you by DRMS. Bovine Bio, part of the trusted Herd HQ platform from DRMS, brings flexible, user-defined views of your individual cow and heifer data. Build pages around your priorities, from genetics and reproduction to health and performance, using intuitive, drag-and-drop tools and custom alerts. Whether you're monitoring a fresh heifer or tracking lifetime trends, Bovine Bio helps tell the full story, anytime, on any internet-connected device. Herd HQ, see what's happening in your herd. Learn more at drms.org/herd-HQ/what-is-herd-HQ.
Find that article on dairystar.com, searching for the headline, Milk a Staple at Historic Race. Our next conversation features Sandy Erickson. Sandy has been dairy farming for nearly 50 years and has experienced her fair share of adversity, losing her husband, her parents, and a quarter of the milking herd within a year. Today, she is remarried and still manages the 70-cow dairy as she talks with our newest Minnesota reporter, Madison Schuler, about her life in dairy.
I know you've been farming for almost 50 years, so throughout that time, what would you say has maybe been some of the biggest challenges?
One of the biggest challenges was we didn't own the farm, and we built about 3 buildings here, which weren't really expensive, but then we built a freestall barn in 1995 on property that we did not own. That was probably one of the bigger challenges, a step of faith that someday we would be able to purchase the farm from his uncle.
Right, absolutely.
One big challenge for me was I didn't grow up in the dairy farm. So we got married in September and everything went great until June when it was time to start baling hay. I did not grow up driving a tractor. It didn't have live power, so if I put the clutch in, the baler was plugged up. So I couldn't do that right. And so I decided to stack the hay on the hay rack, and my stack fell off, so I couldn't do that right. So the first summer was very difficult, but we made it for 41 years.
Perfect. Yeah. Just a lot of kind of trial, error. Yes, exactly.
I had a lot to learn.
Perfect. And I think that really comes with any position, any new job, anything like that. So.
Well, I haven't had another job, so I don't know.
Well, you were stepping into a new role. So yes, exactly. Yep. Right. And I know you ended up losing Roger, and he helped you out on the farm. Yep. How did that, losing him and kind of running everything else on your own, impact you?
That was difficult. Roger wasn't able to do much the last probably 5 years of his life, but he was always there, and I could ask him and he could tell me how to do it or who to call or how to fix what. So after he died, it was extremely difficult because now I had to figure everything out. Where before it was just like, oh, so the milkers aren't, something happened with the pump or something. It didn't affect me because he took care of it. So that was hard. And then we went into a drought the summer after he passed away, and to find feed and hay and haul it was more than I really wanted to deal with. So when Roger was gone, it became very difficult.
Yeah. And how did you keep going? How did you decide to keep running the farm? Why didn't you just give up and say, this is too much, I'm done?
There was a friend from church that came over, and I was in my heart, I was ready to quit. I didn't think I'd ever want to stop because I do love it, but it was time. For me, it was time. And because of the drought and everything, he said, Sandy, you can't sell those cows now because they're not worth anything. You gotta keep going. Yeah, so I guess that's what kind of tipped me toward to continue on and struggle along. And then I met Dan. God was good. I met Dan, and now he kind of takes over that stuff, and I just do what I have to do, and if things don't work, he takes care of it.
Perfect, right? Yeah, yep. He's
so
there.
I'm glad I continued on.
Perfect.
But it was difficult after. It was difficult with Roger being sick, plus the death.
This episode is brought to you by DRMS. Rapid Reports, a new tool within the Herd HQ platform, gives you instant access to individual animal data from any web browser on any device. Use Test A or DartSync data from your processed herd to build customizable reports, sort and filter results, create lists unique to your goals, and focus on the metrics that matter most with user-defined visual alerts. Herd HQ. See what's happening in your herd. Learn more at drms.org/herd-HQ/what-is-herd-HQ. Read Sandy Erickson's story in the June 13th issue of the Dairy Star, or find it online at dairystar.com and look for the headline, Finding the Strength to Continue. Today's third conversation has Wisconsin reporter Danielle Nauman speaking with 2009 Miss America, Katie Stam-Irk. Irk used her experience of growing up on a family dairy farm and relied on her 4-H and farm values as part of her platform as she won Miss America.
How did you get started in the path that led you to Miss America?
I always had a fascination with pageantry. I even have a picture of myself when I was 3 with, I'm in one of my mom's slips. I remember playing in them like they were evening gowns because they went all the way to the floor on me. Mm-hmm. They were silky and shiny. So I always pretended like they were my dress-up dresses. And so I'm wearing one of those and I'm sitting in my favorite rocking chair and I've got a makeshift crown on my head. And so I always, reflect on that picture and think that's probably when it all started. I can't remember a time when I didn't anticipate watching the pageant every year. When I think about who I was at that time in my life, I don't know that I actually knew Miss America was a path for me. I knew that I loved the program, watched it every year, great anticipation, loved the concept of pageantry. There was just a natural draw to it. But if someone would have told me 9 years later that I would be crowned Miss America, I would have laughed in their face. It wasn't for several more years before I even did my first pageant. And the first one that I did was, I always use the analogy of, it was very similar to a county fair queen contest. It was a county program. There was no talent competition. So it was very similar, but not exact. And my cousin, who was like another sister to me, had called me up one afternoon and said, I saw this ad in the newspaper, this new county pageant that they're doing. It's a $40 entry fee. Here's what you have to submit in order to enter. I think it would be a lot of fun. Let's do it. Because she and I watched Miss America every year. And we always loved playing pageants. So I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, this sounds like great fun. Let's do it. So entered, had the best time, going shopping, trying to prepare for the pageant. And then we competed together. And at the end of the competition, to my surprise, I was crowned. And I'll never forget the director coming up to me after that night competition was over and saying, oh, congratulations. Here's what's, the parades that you'll ride in and the different things that you'll do as Teen Jackson County. And then we'll get you ready for the state competition. And I remember looking at him going,
what state competition?
What do you mean a state competition? Like, what is that? And so that was kind of the path that led me to better understanding it. There was limited information on how to even get involved. And being a farm kid, even though I loved pageantry, knowing how to get involved, how to start down that, it just wasn't a thing. So it was amazing how that first opportunity that came from a newspaper ad led me down the path to eventually competing at Miss America, because as I competed in different programs, at one point there was a local director for the Miss America organization who approached me after the pageant and said, I think that you should come compete over in Miss America. And after giving it some thought and learning a little bit more about how to get involved, I did. And so I was crowned Miss America at the age of 22. It was the 10th pageant that I'd ever done. 4 of those pageants were all competing to become Miss America. So it was a very short period of my life when I really reflect on it. It was just 6 years, maybe? Yeah, 6 years from beginning to end. Yet so much of my life of what I've been able to do, what I've been called to do, the opportunities I've been given have come from that.
What was the year like being Miss America? What were the expectations of you? I'm guessing you kind of had to put your own life on hold a little bit.
Very much so, yeah. And I knew that going into it. When I had become Miss Indiana, which was in June of 2008, even with the job responsibilities of that, the travel schedule, I needed to put my last semester of school. I was set to graduate in 3.5 years from college. So I only had 1 semester left of school to go when I won Miss Indiana. But again, due to the travel requirements, I knew that I needed to step away from school in order to really absorb that experience. So I did. I ended up just putting that on hold. And then I became Miss America in January of 2009. And I didn't come home for a year. I literally changed locations every 18 to 48 hours.
She alluded it to like the county fairs program that we have in the state of Wisconsin, or it can be similar maybe to the Princess K, the Milky Way program in Minnesota. So cool to see her experience on stage just like that. You can learn more about Katie Stammerk in our Pride in Our Dairy Roots section with the article titled Lessons Learned in the Barn, Perfected on Stage. The final conversation on today's episode is with Sarah and Tom Cruzy of Dyersville, Iowa. The Cruzy family of Sarah and Tom, along with their sons Caleb, Cole, and Carter, were named the 2025 Delaware County Farm Family of the Year.
My husband Tom and I farm north of Petersburg, where we have 160 acres. We milk 100 cows and have about 350 head of animals. We do that in conjunction with our 3 sons, Caleb, Cole, and Carter. They run a boarding business which house cattle from all over the United States, and we take care of them from any show level, from county, state, and national levels. And we work closely with the boys. They all have off-the-farm jobs, and work closely with our clients as well.
That's awesome. And then you guys were named the Delaware County Dairy Promoters Distinguished Dairy Farm Family. What did it mean to you guys to win that award?
Winning the award at Delaware County Distinguished Dairy Family means a lot to us. Delaware County we both grew up here, and we've called it home for a long time. Tom and I have been in the dairy industry ourselves here for 30 years, and prior to that, we were both in 4-H and active in Delaware County. So to see our kids now out of that level as well, and working closely with our community and Delaware County 4-H and FFA, we've always tried to be a contributor, either whether that's judging workouts at the farm, or just even food, hotels, any accommodations that we can help to make the process a little bit easier for everybody within the dairy world in Delaware County.
And with the boarding facility, you guys board several animals for other people, and you lease some animals out for your 4-H members to be able to show cattle and stuff. Through doing that, you kind of developed a sense of community within that. How have you been able to foster that community of people who are interested in dairy and people who want to be involved in dairy through your cows and your genetics?
For our cows and our genetics, we we just had our 3rd sale this spring called the KCCK Springtime Showcase. We'll be hosting our 4th this coming March, where we sell some of our own genetics, and the boys go out and select cattle from other farms throughout the United States. We work with 4-Hers and encourage any of our boarding clients or anyone that needs help. We help them in the process, anywhere from an opinion on purchasing an animal and breaking down if it's a good investment or what it works for them of their goals and their criteria that they're looking for. And then we also offer boarding for those animals, where we have about 50 animals that we board and house, and then take them and help them at the shows as well, to see the full process. And when they win, we win.
I'd say that's got to be extra special for you, right? When you see somebody else who worked so hard, not used your animals, but had your animals, worked with them, and then they get the recognition of being able to win. But that also means that you guys did something right with it too, right? Absolutely.
So we really try to keep things as much as a family as we can. So when we go to the shows, our boarders are welcome, and we try to be as hospitable and accommodating as far as communication and the ability for them to take part in every aspect, from showmanship to work with them closely on those, and just make it feel like a welcoming atmosphere for everybody who's involved and works with us.
Saying you guys are obviously very active in showing cattle. That's kind of something that you guys have made your name in a little bit. What do you hope that people who are just getting to the farm, just starting out with showing cattle, what do you hope that can teach them either about agriculture or even about themselves?
I feel that the main thing, that we try to teach, we have clients who are well adversed, and then we have clients who absolutely have never been around a dairy animal and would just like to invest, or have family members who have interest and just want to learn. So we have all aspects, and we try to educate as much as we can on the good, bad, and indifferent, and have them understand, every aspect from raising the animal, feeding the animal, what's good about her, what's not good about her, what we need to do for showmanship, because there's so many parts to it. Just showing, anybody can just go show an animal, but it starts even from the selection. From the selection to the feeding, to the program, to the hair coat, there's so many different parts to and being successful in showing that it's just not just showing up and going to the ring. So we try to teach and educate those processes all the way through, so they're confident when it comes time to hit the show ring.
Yeah, and saying you guys have had, like you said, clients from all over the country. You got people from your community that come out here. There's a lot of different aspects that go into running a dairy farm, running your show string. What has been the most rewarding part of your farming experience and working with show cattle?
I would say the most rewarding part about our dairy is that we try to be sustainable within the community and support local as much as we can. As far as business goes, also we really try to encourage anybody is welcome at any time to come to the farm. We pretty much have an open door, and there's other counties and collegiate from all over the U.S. that come and take advantage of the animal group that we have to do judging workouts and so forth. We always try to keep the farm pretty picked up and looking as good as we can. It takes a lot of work to even keep the lawn mowed and all the things done, but we try to be as presentable and hospitable as we can.
You can read the full article on dairystar.com. Look for the headline, "The Hilton of Cattle Accommodations." We'd like to thank today's sponsor, DRMS. DRMS is excited to introduce Rapid Reports and Bovine Bio, two new tools within the Herd HQ platform.
Learn more at drms.org/herd-HQ/what-is-herd-HQ. Herd HQ. See what's happening in your herd. Well, be sure to check out the latest issue of the Dairy Star that has all these stories plus many more. This issue's Our Side of the Fence puts a focus on Father's Day. We spoke with people from around our readership area about what they have learned from their dads and some of the best memories they have of working alongside their fathers on the farm.
Another article to check out is titled "Wowed by Simplicity, Accuracy." One of our Wisconsin reporters, Stacy Smart, talked with brothers Ryan and Corey Zellner, along with their parents Dave and Brenda, who started milking their 100-cow herd with two AMS Galaxy Merlin 2G robots.
Well, who will be chosen the next Princess K of the Milky Way? We're hearing from one of the finalists in the latest issue, Jenna Hansen, who is a finalist for Minnesota's Princess K of the Milky Way. Hansen found a new career after interning at a local dairy farm near Owatonna.
We mentioned at the beginning, but be sure to check out the Dairy Star with all the dairy breakfasts we have listed in the paper. With June Dairy Month, we put in dates, times, and locations for as many of the breakfast on the farm events as we could. Find one near you and head to the farm for a great breakfast and help promote dairy. Find more stories in next week's Dairy Star newspaper. Then come back to Dairy Delivery on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts to hear more of those stories. Rate and subscribe, and if you or someone you know is interested in being featured in the Dairy Star or on Dairy Delivery, reach out to us at dairydelivery@dairystar.com so we can continue sharing all dairy all the time.